A man has been found guilty of being part of a gang of pirates who murdered a British tourist in Kenya before holding his wife hostage. David Tebbutt, 58, was shot and killed when the group burst into the couple's villa at a remote resort in September 2011. His wife, Judith, was abducted and taken to Somalia, where she was held for more than 6 months before being released. Babitu Kololo, who guided the kidnappers to the resort and the Tebbutts location, was found guilty of robbery with violence, the Metropolitan police said. Kololo was sentenced to death but, as Kenya has suspended executions, is likely to spend the rest of his life in jail. He was convicted after an investigation by Kenyan authorities with help from the Met's Counter-Terrorism Command, SO15. A small team of SO15 officers traveled to Kenya after Tebbutts' murder and matched footprints found on the beach after his wife's abduction to the shoes worn by Kololo when he was arrested shortly after the incident. Officers also provided expertise in forensic evidence, assisted Kenyan prosecutors as they prepared for the trial, and provided family liaison support to the family. Commander Richard Walton, head of SO15, said, "Kololo played a key role in this murder and kidnap, bringing the attackers to the resort and helping them search for victims. The Kenyan investigation remains ongoing and we are committed to helping them bring David's killers and those who put Judith through such a long ordeal to justice. I'd like to pay tribute to Judith, her son Oliver and their family, who have all shown extraordinary courage and dignity. The investigation team, led by Sup Neil Hibbard, have also shown great skill and tenacity in assisting this Kenyan investigation." Kololo, who was sacked from his job at the Kiweu Safari village several months before the attack, denied the charges against him. The Tebbutts, from Bishop's Stortford, Hertfordshire, traveled to the resort, which is close to the African country's border with Somalia, after visiting the Masai Mara Game Reserve. Mrs. Tebbutt, a former social worker, was reported to have told Kololo's trial she immediately felt nervous about security after arriving at the beach resort for the 2-week stay and was uneasy that she and her husband were the only guests. She said she woke on the night of the raid to find several intruders armed with rifles inside the grass-woven hut where she was sleeping. Mrs. Tebbutt told the hearing in Lamu that she heard her husband shouting and saw him grappling with a member of the gang as she was dragged from the room. She was then forced to run along the beach and hit on the back of the head with a rifle before being bundled into a boat, according to reports from the trial. She also revealed that shortly after being driven away on the boat, her captors revealed they were after money, raising her hopes that she would be freed. Mrs. Tebbutt was reunited with her son Oliver and flown back to Britain in March last year following her release. It was reported her family paid a ransom of $1.3 million, £800,000, to free her. She revealed after her release that she did not know the gang had killed her husband for 2 weeks after she was kidnapped. A Long Walk Home, a book that she wrote about her ordeal, was published at the beginning of the month. A Foreign Office spokesman said, "We welcome efforts by the Kenyan authorities to bring those responsible for the kidnap of Judith Tebbutt and the murder of her husband, David, to justice." Today's news that Babitu Kololo has been found guilty of robbery with violence is a positive development, but the wider Kenya investigations continue.